You know, for as long as we've been around, we've been chasing this one impossible dream: immortality. I mean, from ancient emperors to today's cutting-edge labs, we're all obsessed with living forever. But what if nature already figured it out? What if the secret's been out there this whole time?
Because out there in the wildest parts of our planet, there are these creatures that they're completely rewriting the rule book on life and death. I'm talking about animals that don't really age, don't get sick like we do, and some of them just don't die. So let's dive in and see if we can uncover their secrets.
All right, first up, we're going to look at the masters of longevity. These are the animals that have perfected the art of just living for a very, very long time. And we're kicking things off with a true icon, the magnificent Galapagos Giant Tortoise.
So let's put this into perspective. The absolute oldest a human has ever gotten is around 122 years, which, don't get me wrong, is incredible. But for a Galapagos tortoise, hitting 150, that's just a regular Tuesday. They can easily outlive us, sometimes by decades. So how do they do it? What's their secret?
Well, it's not just one thing. It's this whole multi-layered defense system against aging. For starters, their metabolism is super slow, which means less wear and tear on their cells over time. Then, of course, you've got that iconic shell. It's like natural body armor. But the real magic is deep inside their DNA. They have these specialized genes that are amazing at DNA repair and shutting down cancer. Their cells are so smart that if one gets damaged, it basically just self-destructs before it can cause any trouble. Incredible, right?
But here's the crazy part. As incredible as the tortoise is, it's really just a rookie compared to the longest living vertebrate on Earth. Yeah, 150 years is nothing. To find this next one, we have to go to the deep, cold waters of the Arctic to meet the Greenland shark.
I want you to just try and wrap your head around this. A 400-year-old shark. That means it was born around the time Charles I was king. It would have been just a youngster when the Great Fire of London happened. It hit adulthood right around the American Revolution, and it lived through both world wars. These things aren't just animals. They're literally living history books swimming in the deep.
So what's its secret? Well, it's all about that super slow, super stable metabolism. It's perfectly adapted to living in the deep, cold, dark Arctic. Their bodies have slowed down to a crawl. But here's the key. It's not just slow, it's stable. It doesn't seem to break down with age like ours does. They just seem to completely defy that normal wear and tear of getting old.
Okay, so living a long life is one thing. But now we're moving on to the ultimate survivors. These are the creatures that can withstand things that should be unsurvivable. We're talking about things built to laugh in the face of an apocalypse. You've probably heard the old saying that cockroaches could survive a nuclear war, right? And yeah, they're tough. But they've got absolutely nothing on the habroprochin wasp. Get this, a lethal dose of radiation for a human is about 1,000 rads. A cockroach can take about 10,000. But this little wasp, it can handle over 158,000 rads. That's not just on another level. That's a whole different reality of what indestructible means.
And yet, even that mind-blowing wasp has to take a bow. Because now we have to talk about the tardigrade. This is arguably the most indestructible animal we know of. The undisputed champ. This little thing is in a league of its own.
Seriously, the list of things this creature can just shrug off sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It can survive for 30 years without food. You can freeze it down to almost absolute zero or literally boil it. It can take the crushing pressure of the deepest parts of the ocean. It has even survived being exposed to the vacuum and radiation of outer space. It is, without a doubt, the closest thing to truly indestructible life we've ever found. So we've seen animals that live for a ridiculously long time. And animals that are basically indestructible. But now we're talking about cheating death itself. There's one creature out there that doesn't just endure, it can actually hit reset.
This quote just says it all. It's the biological equivalent of a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar instead of dying. I mean, wow. Think about that for a second. Instead of dying, it just decides, nope, I'm going to go back to being a baby again. It's a completely mind-bending concept.
So what's the science behind this miracle? The term is transdifferentiation, and it's basically a cellular superpower. It's the process where a mature specialized cell, like a muscle cell, can just transform into a completely different kind of cell. The best analogy I've heard is it's like a brick in your house suddenly deciding it's going to be a window now. It just reprograms its own body. Okay, so here's how the life reset actually works.
When the adult jellyfish gets stressed out, maybe it's injured or starving, it doesn't die. Instead, it just sinks to the seafloor, kind of collapses in on itself into this little blob-like cyst. And then, within just 36 hours, it completely transforms back into a polyp, which is its earliest life stage. It literally becomes a baby again, ready to start the whole cycle over. So, what does all of this teach us? Well, what's so amazing is that nature hasn't just found one secret to beating death. It's come up with a whole bunch of different strategies. We can really boil them down to 3 main blueprints for breaking the rules.
It really comes down to these 3 strategies. First, you've got slowing down. That's the Greenland shark's trick, a super low metabolism and amazing genes. Then there's toughing it out. That's the tardigrade, with its extreme cellular resistance to pretty much everything. And finally, the most wild strategy of all, hitting reset. That's the immortal jellyfish, which just uses cellular transdifferentiation to start over. 3 totally different ways to cheat death.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? These incredible creatures, they aren't science fiction. They are real, living blueprints for survival, refined over millions of years. They show us what's actually possible in biology. So the real question is, what could we learn from them next? What secrets could we unlock for ourselves? The answers are out there right now, swimming, crawling, and floating in the wild.